So basically, nowadays, whenever I was just talking to my friend that day, and uh, like me and like many other people of my age, she's also a Gen Z person, and she asked me one question that why uh, is even spirituality important in today's generation? People are so invested in their career, they are invested in earning more money, weakening, partying, and also moving towards their material goals. And in between all of these things, why would someone take out time to practice spirituality and invest more time in it? So I told her one thing, and that is all of these things that people are running after, the material desire, earning more money, and all of these things are actually transient. See, from our childhood, we are told that if we grow up and go for a good career, then our life will be fulfilled. Again, after that, we are told that if we are able to secure a good, uh, good earning job and later on buy property, settle with a family, will be fulfilled. But it is very important to understand that all of these things that we are running after are actually transient. And no matter whatever we achieve in life, we can never say that we are completely fulfilled or satisfied. What is your take on that?
Yes. So, first of all, any human being, what does he or she want in life or want from this life? See, the thing you are mentioning is fulfillment. So, we want fulfillment in this life, a complete satisfaction, complete peace. That is what we want. And that complete satisfaction, that fulfillment will give us permanent bliss, permanent joy, endless joy, you can say. And you mentioned that everything in this world, what they are chasing, what the Gen Z is chasing, is transient, is temporary. Now, our tendency, look at our tendency. We want to know more. We want more and more. We want to know more. We want to earn more. We want to possess more. Just for this one thing, complete satisfaction and permanent bliss. This tendency of wanting more and more, even after having so much, this points to one thing. What we are chasing is infinite. Finite things are not able to satisfy us. That means we are chasing the infinite, right? In fact, in the Māndukya Upanishad, it is mentioned in one of the mantras, Yo vai bhuma tat sukham, nalte sukham asti bhumaiva sukham. That means that which is infinite is bliss. There is no joy in the limited or finite. And limitlessness is verily bliss.
But as we all know that this entire universe, starting from the stars, moon, sun, the solar system, space, time, all these things are, nothing is permanent. There is no constant. Everything is transient. So when we talk about chasing the infinite or limitless, are we talking about some kind of abstract concept of God or the creator? Or what exactly is this infinite?
So, in fact, after this mantra in the Māndukya Upanishad, it says, but you must know what is meant by infinite. So, what is meant by infinite? Infinite is something which is all pervading, eternal and non-dual. Okay. And that infinite can only be explained in any of the paths of spirituality. And spiritual paths can show you the spirituality actually can show you the path towards that goal of infinitude. And that is why one should come to spirituality. And you are saying, is it something abstract? No, it is the reality. It is the only reality. It's not abstract. Now, is it God? One can call it God, one can call it the absolute, or one can simply call it the reality.
So, you are trying to say that reality is something apart from this gross universe?
No, it's not apart from this. That is why when I said, what is infinite? I said three things. First, it is all-pervading. Anyone can understand that. And if something is infinite, it will be, everywhere in space. Secondly, I told you, eternal. So if something is infinite, it will be present at all points in time. So it's eternal. Third thing was non-dual. So if it is non-dual, so it cannot be apart from these. In fact, the concept of non-dual in the definition of infinite comes from the idea that that which is infinite is not limited by objects. So how do I define that, or how do I explain that is, this book, you can see, this is a book, it falls in the book category. And this is a cushion, which falls in the cushion category. Cushion is not the book is not the cushion. So the cushion or the book, all of these are limited by objects. But that which is infinite, since it is all-pervading, cannot be limited by objects. So if it is not limited by objects, it is present in all objects. In fact, if it is present in all objects, if it is all-pervading, if it is not limited by objects, that means there is no object apart from that infinite. Right? No second object can be apart from that infinite, because if there is one object which is apart from that infinite, that means there is the infinite gets limited by objects, because it doesn't fall in the category of that objects. The infinite becomes finite. So it's not possible. So there is no second object existing apart from the infinite. No second, that makes it non-dual. So that infinite, whatever is infinite, is non-dual. It is the only reality that is.
So, but as we can see that in Sāmkhya philosophy, or even in Sāmkhya, if we are talking about Purusha and Prakriti, so again they're talking about a dual concept, that there is this Purusha, which is the reality, and there is Prakriti, which is not real actually.
They call it real though. In Sāmkhya they call it real. In Vedanta we don't call it real.
Yeah. So also the thing which you are saying, that it is non-dual. The same infinite reality is present in everything and is all pervading throughout the universe. But don't you think that to understand what this infinite reality is, first we have to consider that all of this is actually not real, and that is the one reality, and it is separate from all of this, and try to attain that, and only after that we can.
That is a path, because that path, see, this is, it's a learning process. Those who consider all of these to be reality, for them that is a learning process. Now, first of all, there is a contradiction, that I am saying that which is infinite is non-dual, because if anything exists apart from that, it becomes finite. There cannot be more than one infinities. Then one infinite will, limit the other infinite, whether it is in space and time, right? There can be only one infinite. Now, you're saying that there is this concept of duality in Sāmkhya, Purusha and Prakriti. Now tell me, what is Purusha?
Purusha is, in Sāmkhya, as it is defined, that it is the, it is similar to the concept of Shiva and Shakti. So it is basically the consciousness.
Consciousness,
Yeah.
right? Purusha is consciousness. Now, see, in every experience, one constant thing without which no experience is possible, no knowledge is possible, is what? Consciousness. Without consciousness, is any experience possible?
So here one question. So basically, for the purpose of the audience, because most people think that consciousness is some function or an element which is generated by our brain, and it is individual consciousness. One human being is conscious, and as soon as that person is not living anymore, the consciousness from that person is gone. So that's an individual level. So how can there be this ultimate or a gross or a macrocosmic consciousness which you're talking about? Because in Sāmkhya we see the concept of Purusha, where they're saying that there is this consciousness and there is this Prakriti, which is the world or the universe and the manifestation of this thing. Again, in Shiva and Shakti also, Shiva is the consciousness and Shakti is again the dynamic nature. So everywhere we're seeing that we are talking about this one consciousness which is in the macrocosmic level. So how does that one macrocosmic consciousness is present in every human being as individual consciousnesses? Because if we see it from the level, from our level or level of human body, then it seems that our consciousness is some kind of a function or an element generated by our brain. So how do you justify that?
Okay, I'll come to that, but let me finish what I was saying regarding that contradiction between non-duality and the dual realities of Sāmkhya. So, according to Sāmkhya, Purusha and Prakriti, there are two separate realities, and you said that Purusha is consciousness. And what I was saying, that in every experience, the only constant thing is consciousness, because without consciousness, no experience is possible. I think that's clear to everyone. Now, and whatever is experienced, that experienced object might change, the names and forms will change. Constant thing is consciousness, that which illumines that experience, right? So it is the very basis of every experience, every knowledge. Now tell me, who has seen an object or a universe apart from consciousness? So I'll keep away consciousness and show me the universe. Now show me any object. So without consciousness, nothing is known to exist. So no second existence, no separate existence is there apart from consciousness. So it feels like consciousness itself provides existence to all the objects that are experienced. Without consciousness, nothing is known to exist. Right? That means consciousness is the very existence of all this. And that also means that there is nothing apart from consciousness. So consciousness is non-dual. Consciousness is the non-dual existence itself. So there are no two separate realities. There is one reality. Firstly.
But then, actually, it sounds very abstract because uh, in this universe, we're able to see that there are so many things, and suddenly, if this claim is made that actually there is no existence of any of these things that we're seeing around, and actually, it is the consciousness which is manifesting itself in the form of this universe, and like everything is deriving its existence from it, then I would say that this book exists, and I can see it, I can feel it, I can touch it. How can you say that this does not exist? So, because I think that there's this story of where even after reading Ashtavakra Gita, Swami Vivekananda also had this question that it is written that everything is consciousness. The chair, table, everything is consciousness, and even he laughs and he questions that how can I can see that this is a chair, this is a table. How can it be consciousness? And then Sri Ramakrishna gave him some ecstatic experience, and he accepted it. So, but how do you define it logically?
Yeah, it's. I mean, what I was saying is that you're saying this book exists, this thing exists, this. So, apart from consciousness, can you show me this to exist?
If I am not conscious, I'll not be able to see this. But when
That brings us to the question whether consciousness is a product, a byproduct of.
yeah, that was my question earlier.
Okay. See, first of all, one thing is that every day we go through a state of deep sleep. In deep sleep, the mind is not active.
Yes.
Okay? And yet, you know every day that there is this phase of deep sleep where there is complete blankness and no concept of space and time. When you wake up, you realize that there was this phase, but there was no concept of space and time. You don't know how much time has elapsed. But you know there was this complete blankness. If the mind has shut down, how do you know that?
Yeah. Right.
That means there was consciousness. Secondly, how can you say it is a byproduct of brain? Consciousness is something subjective. It is the witness. It illumines all experiences and remains as the witness of all these experienced objects. That which is subject, how can it be generated by an object like brain? How can an object generate subject? Is it logically possible?
I think that you're quoting this example from Māndukya Upanishad, where this similar slok is there, where they're talking about the three states,
Yes.
the waking, dreaming, and the deep sleep, and then they're talking about Turiya, or the actual witness, which is even conscious in deep sleep.
In fact, it is not conscious. When you go through the seventh mantra, it will tell you that it is not conscious.
It is consciousness itself.
It is self-consciousness. So yes, it is that consciousness which is the witness of that state of deep sleep. And it is the same consciousness which is the witness of the state of dreaming and also in the waking state.
But that consciousness is one, and but at individual level, we see things, our perspectives are different. How does it, the same consciousness is projecting through each of us in it?
This is one of the logic given by the Sāmkhyans. So again, Sāmkhyan logic coming here. So it can be refuted very easily. Perspective is at the level of the mind. Minds are different, but consciousness is one. The consciousness that illumines the mind is one. But minds are different.
Okay, so here I want to, I think I got a better example here. For example, this is definitely not my example, I'm just a little bit modifying it. It is actually given by Sri Ramakrishna. So, if, suppose we are keeping some pots of water in the balcony, and there is the sun, and all the pots of water are having all the pots are filled with water. Now, suppose in one pot I have kept crystal clear water, and in the other one I have kept water a little bit, muddy water I have kept, and in some other I have kept, a little more, not exactly water, some kind of reflecting liquid. So each of this liquid, the same sun will be reflecting on each of the pots. In the water which is kept in each of the pots, but in the muddy water, the sun won't be that prominent. So, because of the level, because of the quality of the water, so if we take this metaphor and draw an analogy, that our minds is the water in the pot. So, for each of the pot, for each of the human being, at the level of mind, what is the matter or the component of your mind that determines how that consciousness is reflected and how your perspective is towards the world. So I think that this example is very suitable if we take that. Yeah.
So that reflection, that takes me to this concept of reflected awareness, that the awareness that we feel right now inside us, that individual consciousness, that mental awareness, that is the reflected consciousness. Just like the sun is reflected in the water of the pot, similarly, that consciousness is reflected in the mind, that makes the mind aware, and that reflected consciousness, that mental awareness, makes the senses and the body aware.
Okay, yes.
Right. Now, a good example can be sunlight and moonlight. So the individual consciousness, mental awareness, that can fluctuate, but the real consciousness, the pure consciousness, that remains constant, and that is one infinite consciousness. Just like sun, the sunlight is the pure consciousness.
Yes.
And that sunlight is reflected on moon, and that is what we receive as moonlight at night. Now, due to the waxing and waning of the moonlight can
fluctuate. Yes.
Okay. That is the difference between pure consciousness and individual consciousness.
All of that is fine, but now let us come back to the first question we started off.
Yes.
That why is spiritual I am considering, or maybe I am accepting this concept that consciousness is the very reality of the universe, and everything else is just a manifestation of the same consciousness. But why do I need to know it? Even if that is the one reality, I am this individual being and I need to continue in this world, and I need to finally focus on my career, earn money, and fulfill my responsibilities. What is my purpose of this spiritual practice? What do I do with knowing all these things? So that is the question that basically Gen Z asks. So how can we convince them that this would be actually beneficial for them? What is the purpose of spirituality? Can we come back to that?
Yes. So, two things. Firstly, why am I talking about consciousness all this time? We started with we were in search of infinite. Because that will give us permanent bliss.
Yes.
Complete satisfaction. The Upanishads clearly states that this consciousness is limitless, is that limitless reality. Firstly. Secondly, the Upanishads will tell you, you are that consciousness. So, All this time, you have considered yourself to be this limited being, and Upanishads will directly tell you, you are that consciousness which is the infinite reality. Now tell me, who doesn't want to know about oneself? Don't you want to discover your reality? And if you are to discover your reality, you have to come to spirituality. And what does the Upanishad tell you? You are that infinite reality.
But how can it be? Any human being will think that he is the body-mind complex. Why would that person think that? Because it's very evident.
Yes. That's how nature has designed this universe. But if you logically deduce all these things, so we have certain methods called vichara. So those logical methods will show you that you are neither the body nor the mind. You are something beyond that. You are the witness of that. And what is that witness? That is consciousness. If I have to explain or tell you those methods, that will take some time actually.
Yes, but one example, this was explained by Swami Sarvapriyananda in one of his lectures. So I would like to explain this to our audience once. So for example, this is the feast. We can see that this is the feast, and as soon as I open my fingers, the fist is having no existence of its own. So that means that this fingers, if I arrange in a certain manner, it takes the form of the fist. But the fist is having no existence if I just, open my fingers, and there's no existence of fist. Similarly, all of these fingers, this is actually taking the shape of a finger because of the shape of the bones and the flesh which is arranged in a certain manner inside. So if the bones were not like this, there won't be any existence of the fingers also. It would be a thallus kind of structure. So the bones are giving existence to the finger. Again, if we see the bones are also having no existence of its own, because it is made up of several tissues and cells arranged in a certain manner and in a certain composition, and then it takes the form of a bone. So if we go down like this, then the cell are also having no existence apart from the cell organelles. Then again the cell organelles also, if we break down, we'll go down to molecules, atoms, quasars, and no matter how micro level we are going, but we are seeing that none of this is having its own existence. But everything appears to exist. It means that there is something which is providing its existence to the everything that we see exist actually is deriving its existence from that one existence. So in that way also we can say that the point which we were talking about, that there is this one reality which is actually providing its existence to all the things in the universe. So yeah, that can be one example of how we can see it.
So this example is very Buddhistic. And one pointer I have already given while I was talking about deep sleep, and you mentioned the name of the Upanishad, that is Māndukya Upanishad. I already have given a pointer what you really are, because when I say that in deep sleep you are aware of that blankness, you are witnessing that blankness, right? And at what point, when you do not have, in deep sleep, you do not have any physical experiences, your bodily experiences are gone. You do not have any mental experiences, no subtle experiences. Your mind has shut down. At that point, you are still there, witnessing the blankness of deep sleep. And then, while discussing Māndukya Upanishad, I said that it is the consciousness which is witnessing the deep sleep.
Yes.
So you are something apart from the physical body, apart from the mind, which is witnessing even the blankness of deep sleep. And the Upanishad says that which is witnessing deep sleep is consciousness, is that infinite reality.
Yes.
Clearly says you are beyond this body and mind, and you are that consciousness, which is the infinite reality.
But my point is that although it is not so easy to understand whether like what is the true nature of the self, it will take a lot of spiritual practice. But still, I mean, what is the exact benefit I will get from spirituality? I am happy. The people who are watching this video, they'll think that we are happy with our life, we are happy with our career. Yeah, there are certain things that I don't like, sometimes suffering, but that's the nature of life. We'll go through happiness and suffering, and that's how it is. Why would they want to come to spirituality?
Firstly, the bad news, the negative thing is what we dream in our lives. A dream career and everything. I mean, you have seen people who have had a dream career, they have become a celebrity in their field, they have so much money that they can buy anything, and they have bought such big properties and all. They have everything that we dream in our life. And yet, they are in depression, they have suicidal tendencies, and committing suicides. There is some problem in our idea of happiness. This is the first thing, the negative thing. Whereas, if you look at people who has come to this path of spirituality and realize that infinite, that absolute, look at their lives. They're unshaken, untouched by the disturbances of samsara. They're always in joy. They are in bliss. They are in peace completely. And yet they have love for all. That is the life we want. If you look at them, if you have the chance to look at them, you'll say, that is what I want. I'll be untouched by the disturbances of samsara. I'll be joy forever. I'll be in joy forever. I'll have this permanent bliss and peace. These are the people who have realized in various parts of spirituality, they have got this, and not those who have earned so much and have a dream career. They are not the people. So which path do you want to come to?
Yeah, so basically, the thing is that for all those people who say that what is the requirement of spirituality, see, as long as you feel it's nothing to be forced on someone. As long as you feel that you're satisfied with whatever you're having. But really, this question has to be delved deep into. If you just ask someone at a go that are you happy, at that point of time that person may be happy and may respond, yes, I'm happy. But for a prolonged period, just keep asking that person every month, are you leading a happy life? Are you leading a fulfilled life? So for how long the happiness exists? For people who are very lucky, maybe the happiness will last for 6 months or 1 year, and then again they'll come. There will be a phase of suffering. Every human being, no human being in this world can ever say that they have not faced suffering. They have not gone through any kind of disturbance. in their life, and they have never cried. So there is this possibility of going beyond the suffering. We cannot change the world we are living in. We cannot change the present generation, the work pressure, the corporate world, your personal life problems, uh, anything. We cannot change that. But what we can do is that we can take ourselves to a state through spiritual practices, and that would help you to stay amidst all the suffering of the world, but stay detached from all of the suffering, because then you will know your true self and you can be in ever bliss even after being amidst this world full of suffering. And that is the true goal that we are striving for. This video was made for all those people who have this quest for knowing the purpose of spirituality. And really, if also one more thing, to really know the self, I think it takes a lot of time, and really few can know it at the end of the day. But I think that even through this entire time, through the journey of spirituality, there is a shift in perspective, and that too helps us to, that reduces the stress, the suffering that we go through in the life, and increases our level of patience, and also makes the journey of the spiritual journey very magical, very sweet. And so that is also a thing, that spirituality is not just about the end goal. The entire journey will promise you certain magic, and certain magic in the sense nothing extraordinary is going to happen, but it is a shift in your perspective, and that helps a lot at the end of the day.
Yes. So the goal is bliss, we know. But even before reaching the goal, we start getting the benefits of these paths. So why not come to this path?
Yes.
So we'll come back with such discussions.
Yes.
Till then, goodbye. Thank you.
Namaskara. Om Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Jai Ramakrishna.
Jai Ramakrishna.